Hi everyone, welcome to Lunch Hour Lessons with Allison. I'm Allison Mädl and today is December 12th, 2018. Every Wednesday at 12:30 I come to you live to introduce a topic that I think is interesting and give you a lesson to take with you into your daily life. So if you have questions or like what you hear during this video, be sure to like or comment and I would be happy to get back to you. Right after the broadcast, I always post a transcript of the lesson on my blog at allisonmadel.com. So this week's topic is prioritizing sleep. Now, even sometimes people hear that and think I'm going to give them a big lecture about they need to get more sleep and everyone knows you need to get more sleep. But I really want to talk about two things. This week and next week, we're going to talk about making sleep a priority, even though it's something on our minds and we know we should do. And then next week, I'll talk about how to optimize sleep. So there's two kind of separate topics about the same issue. So in our busy lives, it's really no wonder that we get to the end of the workday and dinner's over and we're exhausted, but yet we still tend to stay up late because, there's that Netflix show to watch and we have emails to catch up on, and even sometimes getting out of the couch and getting ready for bed can seem like a huge chore. So sometimes we stay up later than we even intend, even though everything's already done, mostly because we're tired and just getting to bed is tiring, which seems counterintuitive, but that's a lot of times that's all that it is. But you know who's really good at sleeping? Babies. Babies are really good at sleeping and they don't feel guilty about it. They don't feel like they're being lazy. They make sleep a priority. When they're tired, they let you know, and even children will get cranky and they can't really do anything about it the next day if they're going to be really tired. It's not good for the whole family. So we can drink coffee or we can sort of do things to perk ourselves up again. And so I think a lot of times that's why adults don't think it's as important, or maybe they know it's as important, but it doesn't get done to prioritize the sleep. So I would say that 8 to 9 hours, even for adults, a lot of people say that they can do with a lot less, and they usually can, but 8 to 9 hours is optimal, and that's what really should be prioritized. Whether we get there or not, that's still a goal to shoot for. So for adults, 8 to 9 hours a night needs to be a priority. Let's think about why. So if you think about it this way, the time at the end of our day that we use for other activities besides sleeping isn't really free time. Time and sleep is like currency, and it's easy to overlook spending this time not sleeping because we won't have to pay for the lack of sleep until the next day. And even then we can overlook it because we can purchase energy on credit in the form of energy drinks and coffee. And we can take a nap or two if we have chance. So eventually all this borrowing against our sleep currency can put us into sleep debt. And this is what I like to think about it. And some people live in this state of sleep debt perpetually. It doesn't help that in our society, unlike being in debt with real money, sleep debt is almost like a bragging right. Most people wouldn't go around saying like, oh, I have so many thousands of dollars of credit card debt, but a lot of people would say, oh, I only got 3 hours of sleep last night, but look at me, I'm still here at work being productive, good for me. And I have to say sometimes I feel a sense of pride with how much I can get done with how little sleep. We tend to be really into this busy go culture, and sleep just is sort of the last thing that seems, because we can always go into debt and make up for it, and we think, oh, we'll sleep on the weekend and it's okay. So sleeping in our minds on the also is kind of like being lazy. We think that if you're sleeping, you're not doing other productive tasks. And it really couldn't be further from reality. And I'd like to argue that sleeping is really productive. More on why will be next week when we talk about how to optimize our sleep. But first, why is not getting enough sleep so damaging? Why is it even a problem in the first place? So this is where we have to talk the health implications. And sleep deprivation is comparable to being intoxicated. Our reflex time decreases, even if it isn't really that noticeable. It takes longer to complete tasks and makes us overall less productive. That's why sleeping is actually enhancing our productivity for the next day. The lack of sleep can increase cortisol, which is our stress hormones that's produced in our adrenal glands. And living with an increase in cortisol that's a chronic state is an inflammatory state. And just like eating too much sugar or not drinking enough water, that puts our bodies into this heightened state of alert. And most chronic disease is now being attributed to inflammation and this chronic inflammatory state that we all are in. sleeping actually is a huge part of that. So not getting enough sleep is also contributing to inflammation. During sleep, the body's constantly being monitored for illness. It breaks down different inflammatory substances. It is rebuilt while we sleep. So our bones are being rebuilt while we sleep, more so than they are during the day. We have less sleep, meaning longer time for wound healing, injury, and even for healing from these chronic conditions that may not be actual things that you'd have to deal with your entire life if part of the thing that you'd get done would be getting more sleep. So it's not meant to make you feel bad. When I'm talking about this, it's not making you feel bad about the times when you just absolutely can't get more sleep, like when you're caring for a newborn or occasionally pushing to complete a deadline at work. I mean, those are sort of the times when it might be appropriate to go into sleep debt, just like there are times in life when it's appropriate to take on some debt that we knowingly do, and then we can work to pay it off. But the problem is that we think of it like, well, I don't think there's enough awareness about it to begin with, but we do it kind of on a daily basis. And so this information is really to bring awareness that there are physical drawbacks of going to sleep debt, mostly the inflammation. So maybe in the back of your mind, if it's the end of the day and you still want to watch one more episode of that favorite show, maybe you'll just watch the one and turn off the TV and go get some rest because you're educated about the importance of sleep. So as a side note, insomnia is a whole other issue, and I'm not talking about people who literally cannot fall asleep or fall asleep and then wake up, can't get back to sleep. That's a whole nother issue. And so let me know if it's a subject that you'd like me to talk about in the future. I know it can be debilitating for many people. And next week, I will talk about strategies that you can implement to improve sleep quality and enhance the benefit of the sleep that you are able to get, even if it's not as much as you would like. So that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to tell a friend this week's lunch hour lesson, which is, it's not being lazy to make sleep a priority. It's not being lazy to make sleep a priority. Like my page to get the weekend tip that comes out every Saturday morning, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.